What's going on, and welcome to the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things cars, racing games, motorsports, and more. Yes, welcome to the third bonus episode of the Stick Drift Podcast, a podcast for all things car culture, racing games, and motorsports. And this week on the Stick Drift Podcast, we have none other than known in the FORZA community, classic top 10 list, top 5 list. Personally, where I first interact with your content was the making YouTubers into cars. Yeah, so I'll get into that.
That's a weird video to come across me from.
I know, right? But there was that stuff. But the man himself, the man who I'm gonna let him explain how his name is pronounced.
I was gonna wait for you to pronounce it.
I have sort of said, oh, do you want me to give it a shot?
Yeah, you can try.
I have pronounced it Yuwan?
Yes. Okay, now my last name.
To be fair, now I'm reading it in front of me. It's definitely not how I say it. I used to say Derrican, I guess I came around to it, but...
Everybody struggles with it.
Yeah.
The way I teach people is saying, like, it rhymes with fire cannon. But, like, it's fire Karen, but fire cannon. It's weird.
Karen.
Yeah, I have Karen in my name.
He's a Karen.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what origin is that? Is the name?
I'm Sri Lankan.
Oh, okay.
I mean, lots of people don't know where that is. So
I assume the default is like, you know, you're either you're just Indian. If you're brown, it's just you're Indian.
Yeah.
I get lucky because people know Pakistan nowadays.
Yeah.
By default, it just becomes if you're brown, you're Indian, and that's what it stays. But so you've been, but you're as we talked about, you're in the UK, which I didn't realize you were. I think you said what I assumed was also what other people assumed was Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
I have like out of like all the non-English speaking countries, Germany is like the most high like audience percentage.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think mine's
it's only
the
like
same.
10%.
I think mine's the same actually. I might look at that right now because I'm fairly certain. Yeah. United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany. Germany's my highest non-English speaking. It might just be racing games are big in Germany then, I guess. Because I mean, that's the only link I can muster together.
But I also did a bit of research, and Germany's population is actually pretty high. It's like higher than the UK.
Oh.
So I feel like that has a part of it. But it's weird that they watch English-speaking channels. Then again.
Yeah.
Actually, no, Germany's not it.
Oh, is it not
India's
Germany?
slightly above it.
Oh. I mean, I suppose, what would that be? Last 28 days you're looking at, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I need to look at lifetime.
Mine is... Germany overtakes Canada on lifetime for me. Germany's my third most viewed country, which is pretty crazy.
Mine's the opposite. It's Canada and then Germany.
Oh.
Then Netherlands.
Yeah, so interestingly, I know why it's Netherlands for me, because the Netherlands is actually the country with the highest search volume for the Crew 2. They search for the Crew 2 more than any other country. So it might be something similar for you there with FORZA, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because all I can think of is that these countries must just be into racing games more, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the tie there, right?
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, a quick one before we continue on with that. If you are from... Now, you might come under this category. If you are from a country... Do remember to leave a like on the podcast. Share the Stick Drift podcast because we got you on that one. You got to admit, we got you.
Yeah,
like
everybody just likes it.
Share the podcast because, of course, that's the main way podcasts grow. And so Yuwan, I've not forgot it already. Karen.
Karen, right?
Karen. I can get around that. I can get that right. Yeah. So the first time I interacted with your content was, yeah, it was the making cars. And I don't remember if I think I must have maybe seen that one first, but then I
Yeah.
think it did the rounds in the reaction side of the UK YouTube scene. So like I think it was on Will and E's Reddit. I wanna say
What?
it was in one of the Sidemen Reddits. Have you not
I,
seen this?
no,
It got onto their
no,
Reddits and they saw it, I believe.
no way.
Was it you made KSI the Urus, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, that got onto their Reddits, and like Toby was, I want to say, an Audi wagon, something like that.
It was
Like,
a RS3,
oh,
but it
the
wasn't Audi, yeah.
RS4 is a beauty, tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I first saw because I saw it round circle those the reaction. You've got a bunch of clips of the Sidemen and whatnot reacting to you, and you missed it.
No, I did. No one tells me about this.
Oh, you just didn't. Yeah, was it not you who put it on Reddit?
No, I tried to, but I think you needed like karma or something, and
Oh
I
yeah,
don't use Reddit,
KSI's
so
one. You need like a certain number of karma to do it. Yeah,
oh
I've
yeah,
had that one before. Yeah, which I'd have to figure out how Reddit works to do that. Unfortunately,
yeah. I don't use that really like that.
yeah. But I mean, because then I looked at it and it wasn't even that like because my first assumption was when I first came back around, got into the racing game scene, was that oh you did that thing and then sort of went into Forza. But no, you've been into the racing game stuff since well before that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
my first ever videos were Forza.
yeah,
I
yeah.
started YouTube with Forza. I'm basically a Forza YouTuber, but I don't like being called that,
But
even though
tell
I
you
am
what,
pretty
fella, I
much.
get called a Crew 2 YouTuber, so think how I'm
Yeah.
sitting here.
It's so annoying, like pigeonholing yourself in one game, and then when
Yeah.
you try another game, it just tanks.
So yeah, that's the thing I was gonna talk to you about. Definitely one of the topics, right? Is that
Yeah.
we really are stuck. We really
Yeah.
are. We're just sort of jammed where we're jammed is the issue, right?
Yeah.
I get stuck on the Crew 2 if I play anything else. It'll do poorly, especially anything long term, right? If I upload a money guide, that'll do good. But if I upload like a general Forza video or a general Need for Speed video, it's a definite tank. And I
Yeah.
saw that you sort of experienced the same thing with, I think, like a TDU one. Your Crew one, I think, did well because it was Crew 3 related.
Oh yeah.
But then stuff like TDU and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, they don't watch TD. Like, lots of my subscribers are excited for it, but they don't watch the TDU videos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm so confused.
Well, I suppose it's all relative, right? Where the amount of subscribers that are, it might just be that the more vocal of your subscribers are the ones who are more excited, and the more drone checking out all the videos, those ones aren't as actually excited, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it also, yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's also a lot to do with right, like the algorithms you're in and whatnot. So
Yeah.
mine, I do get a lot from subscriber feed, but most of my videos pick up on algorithm. So it's more that. But you know, then there's the issue that yeah, if I touch a Forza video, it's a 2K video. So it's that thing. Which it's you know it gives me a lot more respect for people like Black Panther who have grown to a level where they're able to do whatever racing game and do big videos or the average or more in whatever racing game.
Yeah. But like it'll be hard for them to grow because they do like every single racing game, so it's hard to like pick up an audience.
Yeah.
For us, we can easily pick up an audience, but it's hard to branch out.
Yeah. So
And then,
essentially, that's why, because it's always weird, right? Because people will always, they'll have the, oh, they've fallen off, right? Because Black Panther will do 100K views a video. Tell you what, uploading daily, doing 100K views daily, that ain't too bad. I think people really, I'd say like the average I use is like a tenth of the sub count on average. Is probably a healthy channel if they're a consistent uploading channel, right? Because there's the once a month channels, but yeah, like a tenth of the sub count on average isn't terrible often. And like you said, I think the issue there has become is that their audience isn't one audience. It's the people waiting for the Crew videos, and it's the people waiting for the Need for Speed videos and waiting for the Forza videos. So they can do a lot, but they're much more tied to when racing as a whole is up to grow than us, where we can just sort of maximize within the audience we're in.
Yeah. It's hard to pigeonhole.
Yeah. Especially with one racing game, and what I hear with Forza recently, right, is Forza recently, what I've been hearing, word on the street, is that Forza has been very downhill recently. But I feel like every other week I hear, Forza kind of sucks now. And then the next week I'll hear, Forza kind of sucks now. So what is your take on Forza nowadays?
People call me a Forza hater nowadays.
Oh.
Because I point out the flaws about the game, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you're hating," but I'm like, "No, I'm trying to fix the game." But yeah, it's going really downhill. Like ever since, I mean, Horizon 1 and Horizon 2 were good, and then Horizon 3 was interesting but still good, and then ever since then, it's just been going downhill. In my opinion.
So I've noticed there's always people who will have a different falling off point or a different best Forza. There's ones who will say 4 and 5 are the best. There's ones who
new ones.
There's I mean, I've only played. I think I played 4 when that came out because it looked pretty hype. I went back and played 2 and really enjoyed that because it was free on something. And then I've been playing 5 because the channel, etc. Right? But I think I lost my train of thought what I was originally on. To be fair, I'd start talking about what Forzas were good and not. But one interesting thing is, I've sort of got both with Forza hater, Forza liker, right? Anyone who doesn't play the Crew 2 I'll get Ubisoft shill. I'll get Crew shill straight away. But then the funny thing is anyone in the Crew 2, I get like, I can't believe Sid hates the game. Sid is always complaining about the game. I can't believe he's always saying the game is bad, etc. Right? But again, like you, I'm also just be like, this stuff is actually kind of bad. Like this kind of does need a change. And it's interesting to have those two perceptions from those outside of the game, because I can't escape it. It's either I'm a Forza UB shill or a UB hater, right?
Yeah. I used to like really fanboy over the game, trying to get attention from the developers, and then
it's always a fun one.
Yeah. Like at the start of Horizon 4, I was like, oh my god, like why are people complaining about this game? And then like those videos did like pretty bad when I was like, oh, this game's good. And all of a sudden when I start hating the game, everyone's like, yes, this is what we want. I don't know what it is. Everyone likes negativity.
Interestingly, I mean that's just like social media nowadays, right? But interestingly enough, this is a really interesting one, right? So you say that you were making videos to get the attention of the devs, right? Be like, game good, actually, right? I spent the first 2,000 subs. I got a bit of attention, nothing concrete. And then I think maybe I was at like 4,000, maybe 5,000. I made a video called The Crew 2 What Now? And it was just a straight 12-minute rant. It was just 12 minutes of why does the game suck so hard right now? And interestingly enough, since then I've been in contact with the devs. That was the video that they reached out to me through. They reached out to me, they added me on Twitter, Discord, and then I started being in the early accesses and etc., right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that Forza, you know, the intent is to be like game good, to really get their attention. But then you see, well, I guess like me, right, where I've complained about the game and gotten noticed by Ubisoft, which is always cool.
Yeah, I had a kind of similar story to that. But with Forza, I tweeted about like how annoyed I was about like who was getting early access, because when Forza Horizon 5 came out, they were giving early access to like yes men who I've never heard of.
There was this one channel that was like 5k subs before the early access.
I know
he got like
his
a
name was
billion views.
Dart.
Like he just did all the cars or something, and he like I remember hearing about that when it was going on.
Yeah.
And then, Black Panther didn't get it because he wasn't interested enough or something.
No, he was interested, but people's apparently Forza thought they were negative.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But then you made a whole video about it.
You tweeted about that, they're just giving it to people who were yes men to the game.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I did a tweet like that as well, and then all of a sudden, the same day, I got early access code for Forza Horizon 5, and the
Yeah.
creative director Mike Brown actually followed me as well that day.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
what's going on? It's like, yeah, but now he's left, which is sad.
Oh,
But
wait,
I don't
has
know.
he?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
left, and he's made his own Forza, no, not Forza, like a game studio,
Oh, he left
and
Forza, not just like unfollowed you and like Twitter people.
oh no, no,
Yeah, he
he
left
still follows
Forza.
me.
Uh, I mean, when was that?
Uh, right at the start of the game. I mean, no,
Oh, was it?
leaving the studio was like a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, the early access thing all happened like before Horizon 5 came out.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Yeah. So like it was on when the Horizon 5 early access run was, right?
yeah,
I mean, the one thing I remember from that was something to do with like I think someone said to Black Panther like ask AR12 or something, and then he said like AR12's muted me, I think, and then I
oh
remember
yeah,
AR12 replied, "Sorry, was busy playing Forza," which was that's one of the things that I remember from then. Mm.
that's so weird, man. Like, I, I don't know if AR12 hates Black Panther or like if he like likes him. It's just like on and off banter.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
I mean, interestingly enough, it seems like I mean, I think maybe both of them, but they're. I mean, this is obviously perspective, right? I could be completely wrong,
Yeah,
but it seems like they're just sort of they're hard working in their own lane, not really, right? Like, I don't think Black Panther gets out to many like collabs or other creators or anything, which I respect the amount of work he puts in. He like, especially like I never used to do daily videos. Now for the last like year and a bit, I have been. Like, it's so much more than just like, oh, maybe I'll do one this week, right? But
yeah,
he just sort of seems in his own sort of bubble, I suppose. And same with AR12. So I think naturally, you know, there'd just be like a disconnect of communication, leading to less public communication, and then people will be like, "Oh my God, Black Panther hasn't talked to AR12 in 10 days. They must have had a falling out," right? It's the
yeah.
it's the that kind of viewer mentality.
But they did actually used to make videos together, like way back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Or
So
like,
I remember there was a couple of collabs of them two in a couple of games, I believe.
yeah, it was like Horizon 2 days, like 2014, ages ago.
Yeah, yeah. But then you don't really see that much anymore. I mean, again,
Yeah,
they're both hard working. I mean, is AR12 a daily uploader as well? I'm not actually
uh,
too sure.
I think so.
Yeah, it's he's the more Forza side, and then more like Black Panther's the more Need for Speed side, I suppose.
Yeah,
But again, I mean, to be fair, it's always interesting to see. It seems like AR12 also does fall into the pitfall of if he doesn't play Forza, it does worse, which is it's always interesting that even to that scale, there comes the issue of if it's a game that isn't Forza, it won't do as well, which is the issue we're
yeah,
stuck in, right?
yeah. But
Mm,
even his non-Forza videos do good views, but
yeah,
I feel like it would be bad for him if you see all the views that his Forza videos get and compares it to that.
yeah. I mean, it's always
But,
relative, right?
yeah.
Mm. Like I
But like
remember,
recently,
yeah,
I was like, people have been making like Assetto Corsa videos and they've been blowing up.
yeah. I mean, there's that one.
And
There's that new thing. I tried to download it. I
oh,
couldn't get my head around
no
it.
Hesse.
No Hezzy, that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, something to do with that. But I say, of course, it's always been like a big thing, right? I've only just downloaded it the other day.
yeah.
But I see. Oh yeah, there's like Cool Kid.
Oh yeah.
The Cool Kid.
Cool
He,
Kids
he
from
does the
BX.
wheel stuff. I remember he played the Contractor because he got sponsored by Ubisoft for it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no Hezzy. I was trying to download that the other day. I couldn't get it to work because I got my my wheel channel, so I wanted to do some videos on that for it.
Oh,
Mm.
you got so many channels.
It was
I
only
just have it all
recently,
on
right?
one.
Yeah, so it's only recently that all of that happened. Originally, I mean, I guess at a base level, the videos, the streams, and the shorts are all on the main channel, and that was all I did originally, right? So it was just the videos, the streams, and the shorts. Those
Yeah.
all go on the main channel. Obviously, shorts when they came about. Streams was a couple months into doing stuff, and then I started a podcast, and I didn't want to have the podcast on the same channel because that just didn't make sense. Because I wanted to brand the podcast on its own.
Yeah.
I wanted it to have its own brand, kind of thing. I've just said the same thing essentially. I wanted to grow that on its own, and I didn't want to have an issue of people unsubscribing because all of a sudden they're getting a podcast notification every week too. So that I gave it its own, and then
Yeah.
I was looking back, and I was like, well, I was looking through it anyway, and there's these channels that will just sit there and play wheel and get a billion views a video, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't mind that. So because it's like slightly adjacent to what I do already, it made
Yeah.
sense to promote and start a channel like that. And it's been going all right, getting it monetized. It would be something on the side. I mean, the end goal is it starts doing really well, makes money as a separate venture, and then that money funds the main channel stuff. I could maybe slow it down, or maybe even justify getting an editor for the real polish, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I have a friend on YouTube, and he created one of those real channels just to see how he'd go,
Yeah.
and now it's like really successful.
Yeah.
Like, he has like 50K subscribers, but he's got videos with like millions of views, and he says that channel's seen more money than his main channel's ever seen.
Exactly,
So
man. It's crazy. Like if I can just if it just picks up traction at any point, if I just get it
Yeah.
to pick up traction, it will be hopefully what it needs to be, which will be essentially a side hustle that will fund the main one.
yeah,
But interestingly, so I don't know if you've done well, anything outside of videos. So how much do you do really?
I mean, at the moment, I've just videos.
Hmm.
I don't really go out unless I need to.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck inside. It's a lonely job. I just
Yeah.
have like making videos all over and over again.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I thankfully, what is it? Is it more like socially, as in you don't go out much because just working on videos, or?
uh, yeah, ish.
Mm,
And like all my friends have like gone to university or like gone abroad to study.
that's always a rough one.
So
That everyone's out
yeah,
like studying, and
yeah,
it's one of the main things that I'm sort of I'm iffy about. Is that like the main thing I'm going to be missing is the workplace experience, right? Just the experience of working in an office, right? The socialization of that, the experience of going to uni. Again, if I could do that and then also go do YouTube in the end, I'd take it. But I'm still studying, to be fair. So I still study one day. I go to college one day a week, and I still go to the gym, etc. and stuff
yeah,
like that. I still try my best to get out and whatnot, right?
yeah,
I mean, it was with my ex before, but now I'll head out with people every now and then. So
yeah.
I still manage to fit in something else outside of YouTube, but it does get lonely, because it is just you sat, especially when you're doing it in your own house in your own room. It's
Yeah.
just the same thing over and over and over again, and that can become pretty crushing often.
Yeah, but I have like I edit in my bedroom, but like I record somewhere else, so at least
Okay.
I'm not like
Yeah.
static.
Yeah, I
Like
guess right.
yeah, like I'll record in a shed, and I'm in the shed right now,
Oh.
and it gets cold.
Yeah.
That's why I have to wear a jacket all the
Oh,
time
with the
here.
bloody UK weather, I bet it would.
Yeah,
God, oh, it's terrible weather now. Oh, I don't get the country, man. It's when it's too hot, it's too hot now, and when it's too cold, it's too cold. It's pain.
it's, it's not even like nice cold where it's like snowing and it's winter wonderland. It's just dead.
Yeah, it was double-digit weather like a week ago. It's
Yeah,
fogging and like -6 now. Like what? I mean, thankfully, like, because I'll cycle to the gym. That keeps me active enough, I guess, right? So
yeah,
I'm not just sat here, like, forging my gamer posture, right, the whole time through.
yeah. I
Instead, I'm
probably have
actually.
really bad posture, man. Like
Yeah, I'd start watching it. I did at one point get one of those correctors, but
oh
then
yeah,
you start relying on it, and then if anything, it'd be a negative effect because your body's it will just slouch harder because it's expecting you to have that to straighten you out.
yeah,
But I mean, now it's just like I'd remember, oh wait, I'm hunching, and then just try and sit upright until my brain forgets it.
yeah.
Mm.
That's weird.
Yeah, but to be fair, I noticed it's a good one because I noticed a height increase the moment I started correcting my posture. They talk about
Oh,
it. It's like one of those things where it's like, don't go outside with wet hair or you'll catch the plague. It's like one of
yeah.
those like parent myths, but you know what? It's actually true. Who'd have thought?
Man,
Uh,
I need that, man. I'm a bit short. I'm
hey,
not
me
short,
too,
but
me too.
all
I'm
my
like,
friends are like 6 foot plus.
yeah, I'm 5'10" ish.
Oh, I'm 5'9".
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, 1 inch.
Yeah, but
But 69 inches.
exactly, exactly. But
Yeah.
most of my mates, they're to be fair, most of my mates are around my height. Is the thing. And then there's one that's at my height, one that was shorter than me, and then the schmuck has outgrown me, and then like one or two that are taller. But
Yeah.
it's not terrible, right? Could be worse. Could be like
Yeah.
I don't know, like
4 foot.
5'4", right? So it's not terrible. I'd take 5'10". It's still notably short, but it's like whatever, you know.
Yeah. I
Uh,
feel like I'm at
yeah,
a good height where I can fit comfortably in cars. Like
yeah.
I see like Black Panther like driving like his car and then his head's just touching the roof and he looks so like
I mean, with the afro
weird.
as well, I assume,
Yeah.
right? Like that's
Like
yeah.
yeah, it feels good driving, but yeah.
There you go. I mean, I would know, right? I don't drive. Tell you what,
Right.
you know what, you know what. You haven't been around, so you don't know this one just yet. I'm about to
Oh.
pull back the curtains. I'm
Oh.
not a car guy.
I heard you
Like,
said this in Alex's podcast. I heard that. I was like,
yeah, yeah.
how could you be into that sort of videos and like not be a car guy?
So to be fair, with the podcast, I kind of am now, and I'm getting into that side of it, and you know the
Yeah.
motorsports and the new car releasing and the old cars and everything. I'm actually learning. I mean, my mate, he's a car guy. It's kind of funny because it's the podcast with two car guys who one owns a bicycle and the other owns a motorbike. It's a car
Oh,
podcast without a car between us, which is funny.
wow.
Uh, but yeah, tell you what, I couldn't tell a rear fender from a turbo. It's I just sort of never got. They're just one of the things I was adjacent to caring about, right? Like
Yeah.
I go through phases or whatever, right? Like maybe I was playing God of War. All of a sudden, my YouTube's filled with God of War related videos. I was playing Lego Star Wars. All of a sudden, I'm watching Star Wars lore. And way back when, what I played. So my first few racing games were Forza, the one with the Audi R8. Didn't really like
Oh
it
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Driver San Francisco, absolute classic. Like
Yeah.
best racing game ever made, I would say.
That's what
Um,
the picture on your screensaver.
exactly. Yeah, my
Yeah.
my browser default image when I'm opening a new tab is a driver homage in the
Yeah.
crew. Simpsons Hit and
That's a
Run,
bang.
I guess, was the racing game. It's technically a car game, right? That
Yeah.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
Oh yeah.
I
Love
loved
it.
that game growing up. Absolutely loved it. Vibing to the music too back when.
Yeah.
That game has some nostalgia for me. So it was just sort of one of the things that I was adjacent to caring about. But it wasn't like I shit. Like I don't know. I never got into football either. Right? Football was a big one in the UK. Never got into football.
Yeah.
It's sort of like default growing up in the UK. It's like football or football and cars. And I just sort of wasn't in either. I just like maybe care about cars if whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I started doing some stuff on YouTube and I was like Lego Star Wars, Apex, I think like Titanfall, Minecraft. And then out of all of that, the Crew 2 just did the best. So I made more Crew 2 videos. And
Yeah.
here I am frauding my way to the top of being the face of the Crew 2, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
crazy, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an advantage of being like niche in like a certain game. It's
Is
like
it what,
Alex
sorry?
Evan. It's like when you're like focused on one game, especially like a weird niche like the crew.
Yeah.
It's like if you become the biggest of that like game, they're like you're killing it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
like yeah. AR12, like when he started, it was FORZA, and now he's like the biggest FORZA YouTuber.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna blow up.
Exactly, right? Like I wouldn't have expected to be right the poster child of the Crew 2 essentially, right? So
Yeah.
much linked with the Crew 2 that I'm deemed a Ubisoft shill, right? Which fair, I do upload a lot of the Crew 2. Um, but it's baffling, to be fair. It's like 50,000 subscribers off of just the Crew 2 and
Yeah.
still growing at a steady rate is
Crazy.
crazy when you think about it, right? Like, it's really crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see when TDU Solar Crown comes out, the height Alex gets to, right? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
he's gonna pop off the moment that comes out. I mean, that's this year, right?
Yeah,
Rumored,
supposedly.
the Crew
We still yet to
3s
see
should
anything.
be this year too. Hopefully, fingers crossed, please, please. It's for the Crew 3. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how much I grow, right?
Yeah.
Alex has finally come back. He went on a bit of a hiatus there. It's good to see him
Right.
back as well. It was just off the podcast that was around the time he came back into TDU. But again, what do you do in TDU videos, right? At least I've got a current game that gets updates.
Yeah.
It's radio silence on TDU.
It's so impressive how good he's like become after like that game he's making videos on is like what 12 years old,
Exactly,
and he's
right?
still like consistently making videos on like nothing with like something without any news.
Exactly.
It's impressive.
It's insane, cause yeah, like I can say 50k off the Crew 2. All things considered, the Crew 2 gets 200,000 people ranked every week on the summit, so that's not including the people who don't play it. Plus, it's a game that still gets updates up to every week. You know, we just got the 765 LT and an update and a Supra knockoff and so much more. But 20 almost 25k off of a game that is so many years old and a game that has no information. Like it's comical how little they've said about TDU SC.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's mad.
yeah, I mean you've been trying to delve a bit into TDU SC as well. I believe I saw
Yeah.
one or two videos here and there.
It's actually my favorite racing game ever, the TDU
Oh,
franchise.
okay.
But people think I'm a Forza person, but I just make videos on that because it does well. But
We're
I've
frauds
been playing
together.
TDU since the first game. I'm massive fanboy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why, like, if you look at my YouTube, I have like a little goat icon next to Test Drive Unlimited to like
Yeah.
indicate that is my favorite.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that they are sticking with stuff like they're sticking with stuff like the leaving your car, which I was surprised about.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what I was saying originally was that like, my take was clearly L take in hindsight, but was that like, I just didn't think you could do a leaving your car open world racer. Because one, I just didn't think that the market had much space for it, considering Forza, Crew 2, Need for Speed. And then
Yeah.
two, I think that would make it too much of a GTA competitor than a Crew 2 Forza competitor.
Yeah.
And I think it wouldn't succeed as a GTA competitor, but it could do really well as a Forza competitor. And I think
Yeah.
that's where the differentiation was, right? Whether it should have leaving your car or not leaving your car.
Yeah. It's like it's sort of like you wouldn't expect a game like that to do well, and like I think TDU2
Yeah.
Atari went bankrupt,
Yeah,
and that's why they
yeah.
had to like sell everything. So yeah, it's a weird market. Like there's not much for it, but the people who love it really love it.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean
Yeah.
is clear to see with Alex 7. He's got his following off of a very core TDU audience with
Yeah.
room to grow, right? And he's growing, so there's a big audience for it. And I want to say has there been much? So like for the Crew 2, there was hype. I want to say right there was like for the like when the game was first getting cinematic trailers and everything. It was
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't into racing games and I heard about it, right?
Yeah.
Forza's always like a big thing. Forza's like the racing game, right? So like that's always big. Has
Yeah.
there been much outside of racing game hype for TDU?
I don't think so. Like,
Hmm.
I saw like people reacting to like when it was released and like everybody didn't care about TDU.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. It's like
Hmm.
I think what makes it so good is it's a game for car guys only.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Forza, they try to include non-car guys, same with
Yeah.
like the crew.
Yeah.
But like Tesla Unlimited is just fully car guys only.
Hmm.
And like I know that might be boring for non-car guys, but like car guys love it.
Yeah.
It's,
I
it's
mean,
just like specing your car. Like
mm,
it's just the little details that make such a big difference.
yeah.
Such a good game.
I mean, tell you what, it's what I normally say that I'll say that like the Crew 2 isn't really a car guy's car game. It's
Yeah.
more of a game than it is a car anything. They focus on the gameplay. They focus on giving you something to do, a grind, etc., etc., right?
Yeah.
You really can't go into the Crew 2 expecting too much car guy stuff. Often what I'll say is that Forza is more of the car guy's game, because what I see for Forza is the 50-year-old dad who just wants to cruise in like a Fiesta on his
Yeah.
day back from work, right? That's what I know it's not the whole audience, but that is a large chunk of what I see as the Forza audience.
Yeah. But they're trying to make it more childish nowadays with like Fortnite emotes and that. It just feels fun.
The emotes are something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what the battle royale. There's
Oh yeah.
yeah, the emotes, the Hot Wheels, which I guess that was
Oh yeah.
3 originally, right? Which
Yeah.
what was your take on that? What was your take on the Hot Wheels being the first repeated expansion?
I I actually was expecting it to happen
Oh,
because we did get a
okay.
few. I made a video called "What Could Horizon 5's expansion be?"
Yeah.
and like I had a bunch of ideas, and one of them was Hot Wheels 2.
Oh.
That was way before like any leaks or anything.
Mm.
So I had an idea, but it did disappoint me a little bit
Yeah.
because I don't know, but I didn't try the first original Hot Wheels expansion, so I wouldn't have
Oh.
like known. But it was a good, but like it only lasted like 2 days, and
Oh.
then it was done.
Yeah.
Like nobody talks about Hot Wheels anymore in Forza.
I despise. It actively annoys me whenever I spawn there and when I load the
Oh
game
yeah,
up. It frustrates me. I haven't finished. I can only go up to 8 rated cars too. I never finished
I
it.
still haven't finished it.
Have you not finished it either?
No, I can't finish it, but I haven't because I'm just bored.
I
It's
just can't be bothered with it,
it
right?
just
Like,
races over and over again.
yeah, yeah. Tell you
Same
what, I've got
races.
stuff like that in the crew that I still just haven't finished. To be fair, so
Yeah,
like it just. I hope the next one's good. I guess.
yeah.
I mean, the next one's what, Series 17? And I know
I
that
don't know.
number, but, and I know that, there you go. You wouldn't exposed Forza fraud, but, I just don't know what seasonal or whatever we're in now is the issue.
Yeah,
In the gaming segment on the podcast, every gaming segment, I'll talk about what's going on in the crew, I'll talk about what's going on in Need for Speed. And then I'll just every time it'll be, and whatever week Forza is in right now. Because they don't really post it anywhere. There's nowhere consistent that they post it. Like, I check their Discord, and I don't get a look at the seasonal. Like, it feels like I'd have to go on the game every week to find out what every week's things are, right?
yeah. It's. I think you can find it on the Twitter a little bit, but I don't know. It's just not as exciting in my opinion.
Hey, there's a really interesting thing with that. So, Forza adds a car. And now maybe
Yeah,
you can delve into this a bit more, right? So, Forza adds a car, and it's just kind of whatever normally. The Crew
yeah,
2, it feels like no matter what the car, even if it's a dinky little bike, it'll get a bit of hype. Even if it, like, the Alfieri, the Maserati, the McLaren 765 LT, the going back to stuff like the, what's the Chiron, but not the Chiron, the Devi,
yeah.
stuff like that, the 300 plus, all of it. There's hype for those cars, but I think Forza just really doesn't see a lot of hype when they add new cars.
I think they rarely actually add new cars into the game. That's something lots of people complain about. They just they remove cars from the older games and then they bring it back. They're like, oh my god, this is a brand new car, but it's not a brand new
Oh,
car. It's just for the older game. But nobody
yeah.
realizes.
That's the thing, right? They just bring back cars.
Yeah, I feel like every month you probably get like 2 new cars, and then the rest are just recycled. And yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's just annoyed.
And I
Honestly,
mean,
the
do they have
what?
much of an issue with, like, the 7th edition version of a car? Or, like, because, you know, like, how do I even describe it? Like, you get the iPhone, and then the iPhone Pro Max, and then the iPhone Pro, and then the iPhone Pro Max Plus, or whatever. Because
Yeah,
it depends, right? What is the case with that?
I don't think we actually have that. I feel like we only have like one variant of that car, and then they just like something else.
Yeah.
Which is yeah. I feel like the crew actually has a better car list than Forza
Really?
because there are so many cars in the crew which are not seen in Forza, like Koenigsegg with the
There was,
Gemera
the
car.
Jesco wasn't there for in Forza for age. Like when
Oh
the
yeah,
Jesco was in Forza, I was like, surely that's a returning car. And I think when I saw it, it was like new car, the Jesco. And yeah, we've had the Jesco. I think a lot of people complain about that, right? That's another big point of complaint for Forza is how long it takes them to add new cars. Like
yeah.
we get the Countach. The Crew was the first game to have the Countach, the new one. It
No,
was
we're still
probably
yet
in
to
some
get it.
mobile game, right?
Yeah,
But Unbound came like a day after. But like a week before Unbound came out, we had the new Countach. But Forza probably won't get it for another year,
yeah.
and that's a big point of complaint.
I see. Like the crew, they add those cars and then they have like so much customization with it as well.
Yeah,
Like everything can be changed. But in Forza, it's just
customization in
yeah,
Forza is stinky compared to the Crew 2.
yeah,
I feel like though that's one of the few takes I can have where Crew good that is not controversial. That like Crew's
yeah.
customization better than Forza.
I think it's the best current racing game customization ever. Like
Mm.
interior customization, like everything can be changed.
I'd
It's
say
impressive.
Unbound is good, but Unbound is like really good on like 3 cars, and then just
Yeah,
mundane on everything else, right?
yeah.
Uh, the
But there's no
Crew.
interior customization.
Exactly. There you go. I
Yeah,
mean, there's no first person, so
yeah,
there's that whole issue.
yeah,
But yeah, the Crew's definitely got its. I mean, all of them do, right? Forza. Just recently, for my wheel channel, I went on Forza just to drive, and
yeah.
it was really enjoyable. To be fair, I do that with the Crew 2 as well. I say I don't play the Crew 2 in my spare time, but in all honesty, what I will do is I will just drive. Is I will go on to just cruise, no matter what the game.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love cruising, man.
was in that one. Oh, that's loud and it's coming out of my speakers.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
it was this one. This is also going to come out of my speakers. Uh, there we go. But yeah, I just went into Forza to just drive for a little bit on my wheel channel, and I really enjoyed it. Anything past that, I probably wouldn't have been bothered to play a race. I wasn't bothered to play the Battle Royale, even an event lab. I didn't want to go into the infected. I just enjoyed this, essentially. Right. But I will just enjoy this now. I'll just go on to drive endlessly. I've gotten into the the wheel watching audience mindset now. I even
Yeah,
hopped in a Mercedes, in just the most drug dealer looking Mercedes, because I know those do well for just wheel driving videos.
yeah,
And for that, it's fun, I guess. I enjoyed the map a bit more in 4, I want to say.
yeah,
Bearing in mind, I don't remember 2 very much, and I never played any others.
yeah.
Um,
But I
but,
think his Four's map was like so hated. Like lots of
yeah?
people hated the map of Four because it was set in the UK and it was just grass everywhere.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Mexico just feels dead because there's just sand everywhere. I feel like
Exactly.
two was my favorite map.
Yeah?
Or like three was nice as well.
2
Australia.
was 2 countries, right? 2
It
was,
was Europe, France and Italy.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for a Horizon 6, so to be fair,
Yeah.
5 was just supposed to be an intermediary game, right? It was just to get another game out before the new engine.
Yeah.
I say, and I might be wrong, if you're going on a new engine, there's chance people hate it. There's chance it could be bad. But it's a new engine, and you're gonna market it as that. It's gonna be the all-new Forza. And you even put out a pretty stinky game just so you could work more on the new game.
Yeah.
I say just go for Japan. It's free sales. It's free sales. Just go for Japan. It will be the biggest Horizon to date. Guarantee it, I reckon.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while, but there's like one problem, and it's like
Yeah?
when a game's set in Japan, every
Yeah.
other future game is going to be like a downgrade.
I mean, that's
Because
the issue, right? They'd peak.
Yeah.
They'd peak at Japan is the issue.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel like that's what's keeping the hype on Forza. They're just waiting for Japan.
yeah, yeah. Because then there's the thing. Say Forza Horizon, what are they on right now? 4, 5, the 6.
5.
Like, say 7 is in Bristol, like people are just always going to be like, oh, I don't like this Forza, go back to Japan. I'm just going back onto Forza Horizon 6 because it was Japan, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's just what it's going to become, is that issue.
Yeah, that's what happened with Horizon 4. Like, it came out, it was set in the UK, and then everyone was like, nah, I want Australia back. And like,
Yeah.
no one's happy.
I mean, yeah, that's the issue, right? No one will be happy. Japan would make a good last hurrah then, I guess, right? Forza 74 or whenever they're packing it in. But it's the fact that it would just be free sales, right? Especially with how high quality the Forza's maps are. Like, I'll give you that. The cruise map, Play-Doh. But Forza's map, given how high quality it is, given if they put in Tokyo, it would be. I reckon. I mean, I guess every Forza's probably been bigger than the last, just because they've been catering to casuals more, though, right? So I assume they've been bigger still. But I mean, like, that one would be the biggest. Full stop. I don't reckon they hit that peak again if Forza's in Japan.
Yeah.
Which
I feel like,
yeah.
Horizon 5, they like tried to market it as like the most successful game ever. Like, it had 10 million players at launch,
Yeah.
which is impressive, but most of those came from Game Pass.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's like £1, right? It's like £1 for 3 months of Game Pass or something.
Yeah.
So like
you just download the game and then it's like, 10 million players, but it's like none of those people play the game actually.
yeah. Exactly. It really is. You know what? I feel like people treat it like something that there's two sides to it, right? There is the fact that like, yeah, people ain't really playing it, but then there's also people will treat it like it's what you're supposed to play 24/7, right? With the Crew 2, if you play the game all day, day in, day out, you're probably gonna burn out within like 2 weeks. But if you play it with another game, or like play it separately, play it while watching YouTube, something like that, right? Then the game's alright. Like the game, because again, it's not meant to be played 24/7. It's got a weekly event and not a daily event for a reason,
Yeah.
And it's an interesting one because I mean, Forza's always pretty big though. I suppose Forza probably hold like a hefty player count, I assume.
Yeah. I feel like it's the main racing game.
There you go. I mean, speaking of player counts, have you seen... we talked about this on the last episode of the podcast this week. Have you seen Heat has a higher player count than Unbound right now? It has for the last week. My reaction exactly. For the last like week or so, Heat has had more players than Unbound.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's... you don't want to release a £60 game and have people back on the last one, though. So, especially a game that's, been in the works for, like, 4 years? Like, something wild. Like it... I swear, was it Need for Speed 2020 at some point? Like, I don't even know.
2019?
Was it 2019? And then it was
Heat
2020. And then it was 2021, and then they just moved the team onto Battlefield for some reason, and then it was 2022. And then we get Need for Speed Unbound, and now everyone's back on Heat for some reason. I like
Yeah.
Unbound. I prefer it to Unheat. I prefer
Yeah, I
Heat.
actually do as well.
I prefer it to Heat by far. But it's
I
funny
feel like
to
the
see.
story's a bit short though. I
Yeah.
was disappointed how like quick it ended. I was like waiting for more stuff, but I don't play the game anymore after completing the story.
Neither. I mean, I tried to burn time as much as I could in the story, so I was doing every race every night basically for a little while.
Yeah.
Then the thing is, because of that, I got to finishing the third week, and I never finished the story. I just couldn't be bothered to finish the story because I knew it was just gonna be more racing day in day out to play a race against the S14 or 15. I always get it wrong, and I always get it called out.
14.
Is it 14?
Yeah.
14.
It depends on what car
S14.
you chose at the start.
I picked the one that was the S something. It wasn't the
Yeah.
Countach or the other thing.
Yeah.
But that, I couldn't be bothered with the story in the end because it felt like fake progression, right? And to be fair,
Yeah.
you could say the same for the Crew 2, but the Crew 2 just didn't have a story, right? We jumped the gun there. But
Yeah.
it really was just the difference between playing through a God of War, where every mission is a mission that progresses the story, and the difference between the Need for Speed team going, okay, here's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and then just spamming numbers in between to stretch it out. Like, tell you what, you finish the story quick. Tell me you didn't experience playing the same 5 races over and over again every night.
Yeah.
Because that
To do-
got painful. Like, thank God I enjoyed the game at launch, because I would not have sat through that if I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's- Yeah. The races were repetitive.
Like, I remember I enjoy the feel of the game.
Yeah.
Unlike most people, I don't mind the cartoony effects. However,
Yeah.
I will admit they did lie. I always
yeah.
have to clarify this to satiate both sides. I like the cartoony effects. If given the option to turn them off, I'd keep them on. But as a definitive statement, they did lie. They said you
Yeah.
could turn them off, and that was not true, and I don't think they've addressed that either.
It was just like a toned down one with like grey smoke, but still
Yeah.
cartoony.
Exactly. It still had grey smoke, and I think it still had lines or something. But tell you what, have you heard of the new update coming?
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah, I heard when they said, but don't worry, guys, we're gonna add new game modes, and we're gonna add new whatever, and Volume 2, and it's all gonna be in January. First of all, what they meant to say was, it's gonna be announced in January, and second of all, it's nothing. They're balancing some cars, and I think it's a patch. It's not even an update. I think it's just a patch. I might be crazy, but I think it's just a balance and a patch.
I think so. Like, lots of the developers left Criterion
I
after
heard that.
the
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just unhappy with like how it's been treated.
Yeah. And
Like,
that's
if
never
the
something
updates
you
are going
wanna
to be
see.
patches,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, the Crew 2's, at least for a while, I think the Crew 2's team was getting cycled out, but what that seemed, at least, was it seemed like natural Ubisoft behavior, is what it seemed. It seemed that the team that was working on it was just the people that Ubisoft will go, nope, you're working on this game now, and you're also working on this game, and you're also working on this game. As far as it seems, is what ended up happening is now those people were getting cycled out, and the crew's actually hiring their own people now, which can only be seen as a positive, really, because it means the game's sticking around. They bought
Yeah.
a whole new office not too long ago, which hopefully that means my career's sticking around for a minute longer, you know?
yeah.
Tell you what, the Crew 3, if they could just announce it, I just want the Crew 3. I mean, you did a video on the Crew 3. What's your take on all of the whispers about it, if you've been following any?
I've seen some of your videos. It's like set in Hawaii or like Oahu.
Yeah, so allegedly Oahu Island.
I feel like unless they make it 1-to-1 scale, it's gonna be like a bit of a downgrade, the map.
Exactly. That's one of the biggest issues, right? And allegedly, what I hear is that it's trying to go more for the Forza audience.
Oh yeah.
Which, like, the whole point is that the Crew 2 has its own thing, and it's its own, it's the big three racing games. It's like you got the street racing in Need for Speeds, and then you got the Forza for the real quality, and then the Crew 2 for annoying voice act. Actually, to be fair, annoying voice acting is all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Forza Horizon 5 had its fair share of annoying
Jay
voice acting.
in that game is annoying.
But yeah, like I genuinely want to say, the Crew map is one of the biggest reasons it's been going for as long as it has. If
Yeah.
they were adding the same events, the exact same type of events, right? So we've gotten police, we've gotten taxiing, limousines, hauling, stunt recording. What else have we gotten? US Speed Tour, Force Bug. If they did all of that in a smaller map, I think it would have done worse, because instantly there'd be so much less of a new feeling to every single event, because everyone's already seen all of the map by week 2. In the Crew 2, there's massive chunks of the map still that don't have an event in them, that in my series, GeoGuessr in the Crew 2, if I get put in one of those places, I've got no idea, because I've never been there. There's still places I've never been in the Crew 2 map, and that's one of the biggest reasons I want to say that it's been around for so long and able to do so much.
Yeah. I love the map in the Crew. It's like, I remember when it first came out, I was like, the only reason I wanted that game was just to drive around the whole USA.
Yeah, same with
And
me.
yeah. Have you played the first Crew one?
Yeah, so I did. A fair few months into it. Like, Wild Run was already out. But yeah, I played it because I saw a playthrough. And I was like, the whole of the US? And then, like, yeah, I picked it up.
And the story was good in the first game as well. Like, I actually had a proper storyline.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it was just like the default, like, revenge story. But it
Yeah.
worked, it worked. Like, if Alex was to, they... I'm surprised they haven't done more, like, Marvel cameos in the Crew updates,
Oh,
Like, you just get, like, Alex from the Crew 1 come back, or Shiv, or whatever.
yeah.
I've jokingly pitched before an way more in-depth Detroit map, and call it just Crew, and make it a prequel to the Crew 1, which could be fun. If done right, that could actually be pretty fun.
Yeah.
The issue is, if it's a smaller map, they're becoming a Forza competitor, and one of the main things they will not be able to compete with Forza on is the graphics. They will just become a worse-looking Forza.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have the boats and planes, yippee, I guess, but when there's only so much map to work with, how much boat and plane events can you really have? I'm worried about that. I really am.
Yeah, that's something Forza would have on every racing game. It's just how good the graphics are.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
I do actually enjoy the Crew too. Like, I do play it every now and then.
Yeah.
And I remember there's a video like ages ago on my channel where I played the Crew 2 beta with one of my friends.
Oh.
And it was the most fun I've ever had on a racing game, like, ever.
Tell
It's just
you
us
what,
messing around with planes, like, flying through Las Vegas, and
yeah.
so fun.
Some of my favorite times I've ever had on the Crew 2 was just when me and my mate were just utter casuals. Just around the map. We were trying to drive monster trucks up walls, and we were both in helicopters, and just like, there's a lot of fun to be had in just playing with a mate in a game like the Crew 2, because it's such a sandbox.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just every, like, you can land on any building, like,
yeah.
it's actually it's such an underrated game in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why it doesn't do better than it's doing.
You know what? it gets a lot of shtick from the racing game audience, right? Interesting thing, I've talked about this before, publicly at least. It's just kind of funny, I guess, right? But Black Panther's Discord just kind of really hate me. Like, they just sort of really hate me. I've never done anything. I'll just check up in there every now and then. I'll go like, I wonder if I've been brought up. I'll whack Sid in the search bar, and it's just, Sid sucks, and he plays the Crew 2, and he sucks. And, like, the thing is, right, I get asked all the time,
Yeah.
Sid, how are you not bored of the game? And tell you what, it's my goddamn Bruce Banner Avengers moment, right? Because here's my secret. I'm always bored of the game.
Yeah.
And again, I always complain about the game. But, I get stuff like UB Shill and, they seem to really care if the Crew 2 is brought up or if I'm in the... Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unchecked toxicity there, which, like, whatever, right? But, the Crew 2 gets a lot of shtick in the racing game scene. Goosiest, he did a video. I don't know if you saw it recently. I was in a Goosiest video.
You out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was so sick.
That's great.
Mhm.
I saw your original video calling him out, and I was like, okay, good luck if he actually watches. And then later on in an actual proper video of his, he puts you in.
I know, right? Like, I was in the video. Like, that's crazy to me. That's wild.
Right.
But yeah, he's hopping on the Crew 2. But to be fair, most of his audience was like, yeah, they were so wholesome, man. So most of them were like, yeah, hop on, play with him. But then, yeah, there's a lot of like, the Crew 2's bad, actually. And I think it's because, to be fair, at launch, the physics were pretty stinky. But the thing is, it's just like any racing game. If you only play the base... I despised Unbound. Now I really like the physics. I despised Forza. Now I really like the physics.
Yeah.
People in the Crew 2 will play a 10 rated, like, TT and assume that's how the whole game plays. And then there's the general toxicity around the game as well. There's a lot of that in the... I mean, that's why, like you were saying, that the game isn't as big as it is I think because it has the negative reputation from its launch and a large chunk of the racing game scene with the preconceived notions about it.
Yeah. It's... What?
What were you saying? I
wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. My bad. But there's a lot of that in the racing game scene, in my opinion, right? With a lot of, I like this game, so the other ones are bad. It's like, it's with the big three, right? Everyone who likes Need for Speed has to hate Forza and the Crew 2. Everyone who likes, I mean, even in the Crew 2, everyone who likes the Crew 2 has to hate Forza and Need for Speed. Like, even I'll see in my comments, it'll be like, oh, Forza's actually trash, actually. And I'll be like, well, Forza's alright. It's good where it's good. Everyone who likes Forza has to hate Need for Speed and the Crew 2. It sucks that it sucks to see, but there's unfortunately a lot of that in just the whole racing game scene.
Yeah. But my audience is kind of strange. Like, they subscribe to me for Forza videos, and when I say bad stuff about Forza, they like completely agree with me. Yeah. And then if I'd play another game, they'd be like, "Oh, this game's so much better than Forza," and then like, it just. I feel like I've gathered an audience of Forza haters accidentally. Like, I didn't try to do this.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, if only for the shooting game audience, the FPS audience, the racing audience may have the potential to be one of the more toxic ones on the underbelly of it. Obviously, a lot of them are great. Like, I was baffled by how wholesome Goosius was.
Yeah.
But it really does become that. Like, do you get much? Oh, I'm curious here. I might strike gold right away here. Do you get much if you don't like the game that much? Just stop playing it. I can imagine you get a lot of that. A lot of like, just play something else then, or just stop complaining and just play another game.
I rarely get that. I mean, I'm sure
Do you?
there are some comments like that, but
Okay.
if I scroll deep enough, but like I just read like the first couple of comments and yeah, they just agree with me.
Like you really have just like a predisposed to Forza hate audience. I mean,
Yeah,
hey, at least they watch the videos. You know, you've got the audience
yeah,
that'll come back for it. And to be fair, you know what? I've wanted to. I keep saying it, but your video concept that you've got that is just a bunch of cars with X thing, right? You have like cursed cars
yeah,
or just stuff like that, right? You'll have like a list of cars or top
yeah,
5 summit cars. I want to start doing stuff like that for the crew too. I never get around to it, but it's good and it does well for you as well, right? Like you got
yeah,
the craziest details that did 54K recently.
yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And you've got a system to it.
Yeah, like I mean, it's very unpredictable. It's not like it's just always gonna do well because
Of
some of them
course.
just tank.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's sort of like starting a new series on my channel a little
Mm,
bit.
yeah, yeah. And it's always cool to see because they're unique ideas. So whenever I see one of
Yeah.
your more unique ideas do well, it's always like, oh, sweet. No, that one did all right, you know.
Yeah.
So what system do you have to uploading? So like, is it once a week? Is it about how's your system? How much do you work?
I mean, it varies over time. Like in 2019, I used to do once every 2 days,
Oh,
but those videos were like pretty short, like 4 minute videos, so those were easy to edit
yeah,
and that. And then since I've been doing 8 minute videos, it's been like once every 3 days or once every 4 days.
that's good. Yeah.
But right now it's once every 5 days because I had like family around, so I couldn't really
Huh.
come here and edit properly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back to once every 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, yeah, but like my videos are like very heavily edited, so
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
not like you record a video and then you upload it straight away. It's like it takes time, like 2 to 3 days of editing.
Mhm. 2 to 3 days.
Long.
God.
Yeah,
Tell you what, mine really is videos as a factory. My edits, I've streamlined the whole process. I edit as a system, and I try my best to stay at least 3 scheduled videos ahead. That's the
oh
plan.
yeah.
And I'm getting pretty good at it. Like, yeah, having 3 scheduled videos ahead. And it's always nice that there's something always going on in the crew.
I
I
used
mean,
to do
yeah.
that, but
Hmm.
it annoyed me because like if like there was something like crazy that was popping off, I had to like stick with that schedule. So I'd be
Yeah.
like after those 3 videos. But like nowadays, it's like if something crazy happens, then I can instantly make a video on it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
upload it whenever.
I mean, thankfully, because my consistency is daily, and
Yeah,
I'll often know what's coming up. I'll just make that gap in my schedule, right? So like whatever scheduled video I have, I just put it the next day, and then the same day I'll make the video on whatever thing just got added, right? Edit, film, edit, upload that day.
yeah,
Um, I mean, for me, I've really got into 9 to 5. Is I will wake up at 8, I will work straight from 8 till 2 p.m. Work non-stop. I'll go gym, I'll eat, and then I stream 6 till 9.
yeah,
And like yeah, that's the system I've been working on. That's how I manage all the 3 channels and the daily like I calculated it. A good week, my
yeah,
sleep cycle's perfect through all of it. Um, like yeah, sleep cycle's perfect through all of it. There's stuff to do. I will do 18 to 21 pieces of content on the best weeks, which is
yeah.
crazy thinking about it. Like, it's nuts.
That's crazy. I
Mm.
just get 2 videos every week.
Yeah. But I'm curious, of course,
E.
how did you get your start? How did you... Tell me the Yuwan Thykaran. Thykaran.
Close. Die, Karen.
Thyakaran. You really pronounce it as fire. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Thyakaran, not Thykaran, right? I skipped the
Yeah.
fire bit, right? To tell me the story.
Wow, I started YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh, it was so random. Like, I used to edit videos a lot, like, since I was like 6 or something.
Okay.
And I became like really good at editing videos, but I never posted it. And then I randomly just decided to post it. And then, like, a video did like not that good, but I enjoyed the editing process, and then I did it over and over again.
Yeah.
And then like I think like six videos in, like one of my videos sort of blew up, and then I got like 1,000 subscribers in a week, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I've been like building, but like I've been I was sort of making videos as a hobby. Like I was demonetized for such a long time, and then
Demonetized or
well,
just not
like
monetized?
not monetized, not
Okay, yeah.
monetized.
I was gonna say.
Like
Yeah.
I was just making videos for like myself. Like, I
Yeah.
enjoyed making videos and talking to people.
Mm.
And it was I was like not making any money on YouTube, but I was like Black Panther knew me, AR-12 knew me. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy, just like doing it as a hobby and like that happening.
Mm.
And then like 2019, like I was considering quitting YouTube, and I
Oh.
made a video on it, which I
Yeah.
regret making because I lost 1,000 subscribers that day.
Oh.
And then I was like, okay,
Oh, so
nah, I'm
you'd
gonna,
gotten to like a hefty size at that point.
yeah, like
Like you
about
had the
20,
1,000 to lose, right?
yeah, like 2019, I had like 30,000,
Yeah.
and then I lost 1,000. I was like 29,000, and I was like, yeah, that's annoying. And then like, I just
Mm.
wanted to like really like, I at the end of 2018, like I had like a long time like relationship, and then like we broke up,
Yeah.
and then I was so heartbroken, yeah.
Yeah,
And
of
then I was
course.
like, nah, I'm gonna use that for like fuel to like
Yeah.
become successful. And then like the following year, I just destroyed videos and like yeah, went from like 30 to like 100K that year, which is
Mm.
crazy.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Tell you what, I'm on my 100K year as well. We hope. Fingers crossed.
you
I've
probably could do it actually. Like
if
the rate you're growing at right now is the same
yeah.
as what I was in 2019.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could
Uh,
happen. You're already like 50K in January.
yeah, exactly right. And if the rumors are to be believed, if
Yeet.
the Crew 3 gets if the Crew 3 gets announced this year,
Yeah,
I think that's a definite 100K. Or
yeah,
maybe just will squeak by 100K by the end of the year. Crew 3 gets announced and released this year? No
yeah,
shot 100K like that, I reckon. Which
yeah,
will be cool because then like yeah, that's the career, you know. That's the done. Now I'm a YouTuber, right? I
yeah,
tell you what, coincidentally enough, I have just gone through a breakup recently.
yeah.
Very recently, and then now I'm off to get 100K this year. We hope, you know.
Yeah, it's a good motivator. Like, I wouldn't mind getting into a relationship just for them to break up. I'll
Just
be like,
again.
yeah, do it again.
Yeah. Just like yeah, get a quick bump from it, right? Okay,
Yeah,
we'll date for 2 months, and then you just go at me. I hate you. You'll never be anything.
it'd be like,
You know, like wink. You'll never hit 300K. Wink. And then you use that as motivation.
yeah.
uh,
What
but
is
hey,
it?
yeah,
If you get your like collaboration with Gooseyest, yeah,
yeah.
then that's gonna blow up your channel.
I've been curious because what do you think? Because I've talked to people about it, and
Yeah,
my estimation of possible 10K bump, I've heard that that's an overestimation. I've heard more estimations of like maybe you'll gain 1 or 2K, is what I've heard.
I don't. It depends on like how you are in the video. Like if you
True.
like actually have a mic and like you can like talk to them and like try and be as entertaining as possible
Yeah.
to like because I had a similar collaboration with Jack Automotive
Oh,
or Jack Auto
sweet.
Gamer.
Yeah, yeah. Watch my
Yeah, he subscribed to me and like we like started making one video,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm just gonna be the craziest person in this video. So I on purposely like span out my car in fourth, so I was
Yeah.
like crashing everywhere, trying to get the slowest time, like. And then
Yeah.
like everybody in the comments was like, oh, like who is that you in person? And then like I got a few subscribers on that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Goosey is just really popping. Like you get like a good amount of subscribers from him.
I mean,
Like he's probably like the most trending racing game YouTuber
yeah,
right now.
yeah. I definitely say I'd say probably I'd give him the racing game content creator of like 2022, I guess, right? Because
Yeah.
he really did blow up recently. You know, off of CarX. That had its. Was that this year? Or was CarX last? The 2021.
2021
It
or
might have been,
something.
right? Yeah. But he blew up off that. I mean, he was already doing pretty good before that. But
Yeah.
the thing is that his audience. I might try and get him on the podcast soon as well before the collab, if anything, because that might also kick it into motion. But I think the thing with the Crew 2 is most of the people outside of it either haven't heard of it, or either have heard of it, never tried it, or tried it at launch and don't play it anymore, right? And
Yeah.
I'm assuming out of 1 million subscribers, a large chunk is haven't tried it in ages, or have heard of it but never played it. The Crew 2 is a really good game for new players. Like,
Yeah.
I get fed up with the game and complain about the updates because that's what that is my hit for that 2 months. Someone who
Yeah.
picks up the game now, they've got 5 years worth of updates of content. And I really think is that, like, I'm sure of, I don't know, I never like really bragging about this stuff, right? But like, I'm more so the premier content creator of the Crew 2. People pick up the game, they start looking for content, they see a few Black Panther videos, I'm there lurking in the recommended. And I'm the one who does the consistent stuff, right? The daily stuff.
Yeah.
So I think if his audience receives the Crew 2 well, there'll be a lot of consideration to go into the Crew 2. And then from that, there is a chance, if there's a big enough chunk, that those guys check me out. And if that is like a 10k bump, that's 100k this year, like, no question, I reckon.
Yeah.
Which would be crazy. Oh, I tell you what, have you got the silver play button?
Yes.
The idea of that gives me chills. I still say
Yeah.
if I ever hit 100k, but like because that just the idea of something like that is mental to me.
That's what like motivated me to chase 100k.
Yeah.
And it's like so good just having it there, like just
Yeah.
looking at it and be like, yeah, I got that.
I've got the spot for it. It's right there. It'll be right there, and it's perfect. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, you can see it.
It's literally the perfect spot it could be. And
Yeah.
like, it gives me chills. Just the idea of it is mental.
Yeah.
And especially considering that the Crew 2 gets, again, like 200,000 people play the competitive event every week. So, you know, that's not including the people that don't play it. I think there's room for me to... It's crazy that there's still room for me to grow. I still grow at the rate I do. Because when I came into the Crew, the biggest Crew 2 only creator at the time... Because obviously Black Panther, he plays everything, right? The biggest Crew 2 only creator at the time, he was only at 32k, I want to say. A core was the guy. And he just does gameplay. Like, there'll be no talking, just gameplay. And, I mean, I guess... I brought in the funnies and the ha-has and the ideas and the GeoGuessr in the Crew 2 and the watching Crew 2 TikToks and the goofy reaction faces.
That's
you
what
know
like sort of attracted like when I came across I randomly got recommended one of your videos.
Yeah.
And like I watched it and I was like, oh, this reminds me of like old school FIFA YouTubers.
Really?
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't think anyone could like, I didn't know anyone actually like made videos on the Crew
Yeah.
like that. I was like, I thought it was just a game you dip in and out of. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're consistent. I was just, subscribe to you then.
You know what? It's crazy because people will be like, how do you still have ideas to do? How do you still upload daily? I don't know. My schedule is still currently clogged. Like, I won't show it on screen, but like this is my schedule still. I haven't done half of these. These ones that are in the grayed out, in the blacked out gray, I haven't even done half of those yet. Like, I don't get it. I still just have stuff to do in the game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I was actually curious because I was going to ask. I remember it was around the time, I want to say, because I noticed when you subscribed, because you've got your subscribers public.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I assume you followed me on Twitter afterwards, and I noticed that. But then I looked at my subscribers and I was like, no way, Yuwan followed me and subscribed to me, and I was talking to my mate
Yeah.
about it. In fact, spoilers for if I ever do my most subscribed subscribers, because you have got the number one
Oh.
spot there. Uh,
Oh.
uh,
I think followed you on Twitter at the same time
yeah,
because I subscribed to you and then I was like, oh, let me just click on your links. I clicked on one of your Twitter, and then like it said like you follow me already, and I was like, oh, so you already
yeah,
know me. I was
yeah.
just like, oh, follow back. Like I
Mm,
enjoy the videos, so yeah.
mm. And I'm curious, because I'm fairly certain. I think I remember it being around the time I did something to do with an AI in the crew too, but I don't think that was the video. I'm curious if you remember, what was your first video that you found of me?
I I don't know. If I scroll down enough on your channel, I might see like a red bar.
I suppose,
Like
yeah.
uh
June
like
30th of 2022 was when you subscribed.
June 30. Okay,
How many
wait,
months ago
wait.
is that? I don't know my months.
June
um,
6.
is it 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I'm trying to find. I don't know, but I do remember watching. I think you did a series on your channel where like it was like best boats for the crew, best like cars for the crew, best
Yeah.
bikes. Like I
Oh
think it might have
yeah,
been one of
yeah. I
those.
did a back-to-back best in every spec guide. Yeah. So
Yeah, and it
okay,
was like
that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, but
I mean,
like there's this video called how this guy finished the race in 22 minutes. That's like the furthest down that has a red line.
oh, okay. Huh.
I don't
That
know.
one was a banger. I'm surprised that one did that well. That one did pretty
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything to do with that race. There's that one race in the game. If I do anything to do with that race, it does well for some reason. Um, but yeah, because you know what? That does actually line up perfectly with. Because I remember, I think it was around the day or maybe a couple days after I uploaded I used an AI to put the Supra in the Crew 2 video.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think I've seen that. Where
yeah. It was right. It was it was 2 days before the best in every spec, which I guess makes sense that you saw that, and then like that's around the time I remember it being. The crew was popping off back then. Damn. To be fair, I've kind of leveled out. I'm curious, I suppose. I don't know. You know what? There's people like Jay Aubrey. Do you know who Oh, not Jay Aubrey. Sunny V2.
no. I don't.
So they do like video essays, right? But
Yeah.
Sunny V2 is notorious for always being like, this YouTuber got 100 million views this month, and now he only did 10 million. He's fallen off, right? So there's always a
Yeah.
stigma around that kind of stuff. But interestingly, I've kind of leveled out recently, is what I've noticed. So at the start of 2022, I was getting about barely 100,000 a month, and
Yeah.
then through mid 2022, I sort of popped off insanely, started doing daily uploads. Yeah, so it was 240, 330, 127. February was a bad month.
Wow.
And then from there, I just sort of went to 840k. And now I've just kind of leveled out at 600, which I've kind of been saying that, like, if 600k is what I'm leveling out at, I'll take that, right? So I'm curious, do you notice much up and down? Because you've been going for ages now, right? So
Yeah.
what is the ups and the downs like?
I peaked at like 2019.
Yeah,
I used to get like crazy views back
I've
then.
definitely I've peaked for a while in July. Crew 3 is gonna be the thing I need. Um, I mean,
I
2019, that would have been what, second year of Forza 4, I want to say.
Yeah, Forza Horizon. No, it came out in September 2018, so it's just like a few months
Oh
into
yeah,
it.
basically just into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was decent back then, and there were like recently there have been points in my life where I'm like, oh, I fell off because I don't get the views now that I used to in 2019. But the views I used to get in 2019 was stupid. Like I used to get
Yeah.
more views than Black Panther back then.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was crazy, and I only had like 30,000 subscribers.
Mm.
Like yeah, I don't know, but like yeah, it's really unmotivating when you see a dip.
Yeah,
Like
always,
when you're
always.
when the views shoot up, you're like so like, oh, I'm ready to make my next video. But when it's
Yeah.
like down, it's like, is it even worth it making a next video?
I get paranoia about it now. Tell you what,
Yeah.
not like crazy, nothing clinical, nothing really to be worried about. But like recently, I've been on like the videos. It's a YouTube term here. 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10,
Oh,
or 1 out of 10, and then I just keep waiting for it. I've whenever that happens, I will stop looking at them, and
yeah.
I didn't do it today. And my video today was a 10 out of 10, and I was like ah. And to be fair, it climbed back up to a 4, but
Oh.
which was surprising. Like I'll take that. But like yeah, I get worried about it now. If I notice like a really big boom, my mindset is just okay. The boom is there, the views are there. Ignore them. Carry on is what I'll become.
I don't really like like look at that sort of stuff like the 1 out of 10 thing because I
You're
just
better off. You're better
yeah.
off. Keep it
All I
that
look at are
way.
the views.
keep
I look
keep
at
it
the
that way.
views. If it's up, then I'm like, okay, next video. And then,
Good. Yeah, trust me.
yeah.
Good.
I don't know why YouTube added that. It just makes like YouTubers depressed.
Yeah, like everyone talks about it. You know what? To be fair, I think everyone always bundles it up with it's like, yes, seeing a 10 out of 10 is like, but then it's the fact they give you confetti when it's a 1 out of 10. If
Yeah.
like it's the fact they give you confetti. It's oh
Yeah, nice.
they're playing with us. Tell you what. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I've been good at not checking my analytics too much. I used to. I've gone through phases of checking them too much. Gone through phases of never looking at them really. I
Yeah.
know that I get about 20k a day, and I'm chilling with that. Right? A good
Yeah.
day, 40k. A go on break for a week, 16k. I'm earning a living, so I'm chilling. Essentially, is the way I'm
Yeah.
at it. Especially with how I essentially run it like a 9 to 5, right? So it
Yeah.
is just I'm just working to work.
Yeah. Like
Mm.
the views like if I got the views like I got in 2019 with the CPM I have now, I'll
Racing
be
game
driving
CPM is
Lambos, man.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
mine's like £5. It's been at £6
Yeah.
before. Like, oh we know that. Yeah, mine's £5 January CPM.
Jeez.
Like mine's like mine's normally a £6 to £7 CPM.
Okay, mine's £3.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
But even
interesting.
that is good.
That's really
That's
good,
good
yeah,
for me.
compared to what I hear about from like other YouTubers. That's
Yeah.
good. God,
There used to be in 2019 I was like barely £2.
wow. I,
Like
I wonder why that is. I
yeah.
was your content
Oh no, my
like
videos was like shorter back then, so
that'll be
yeah.
it. Yeah. So it's less money per view because those views aren't mid-roll views. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that analytically makes sense, I suppose. But
Mm.
I tell you what, recently I just sort of started doing the I've got an ad every someone else did this. It was also in the gaming world, average game reviews. He did this in the racing world. He did this, so then I ended up doing it. An ad every 2.5 minutes. Hear me out.
Oh,
Sounds like a lot.
yeah.
Sounds like a lot. YouTube will not give the viewer the ad every 2.5 minutes. They'd
Oh
maybe
yeah.
give 1 or 2 if it's like a 20-minute video. And also, like I've genuinely just not heard. I think I heard like one complaint about it in the last year and a bit that I've been doing it.
Yeah.
So it's not terrible, right? I'm not putting one every 1 minute, right?
Yeah.
But so relativity, I suppose. But the one every 2.5 minutes has been doing me good. But to be fair, I've sort of always noticed that it has been about like £6, etc., which is even more and more crazy the more I hear more about YouTube, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't like I'd put 3 mid-rolls in,
yeah.
but like I put it manually in places where like I think it would be a good place to put it. So like
Oh,
before
okay.
you find out something,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, this car sounds like this, and then I put an ad roll there,
Yeah.
and then they have to watch it, the advert, if it comes up. Yeah.
I think about doing that. It feels smarter. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I should do that sometimes. But again, daily uploading, I will just be like, boop, there's the video, thumbnail, title, and then it's just the ads and everything. You know what's funny, actually? This comes up when I'm talking to other creators, so I want to get your take on it, right? It's just an interesting thing, right? I've built this much, right? It's crazy, especially off the Crude 2. Now, see, if I ask this question, you'll probably assume that there's something up, so maybe give the right answer instead. What do you think I use to edit?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I use Sony Vegas, man. If you use like Microsoft Movie Maker, then that'd be impressive.
I use a janky software called VideoPad that I use for every single video, that every time I launch it, I have to put in a code. I haven't this time for some reason, but I always have to put in a code for it. Not only that, but every single one of my thumbnails is done on the free browser software called Pixlr, which is just... It's
Wow.
brilliant. I'm running at like zero cost, and it works, is the thing. It works.
Yeah. You don't need money to be successful on YouTube like that.
There you go, right? If you're smart with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've ran that from the start, essentially. And I've not had to shill away 50 quid a month for Photoshop and the Premiere Pro and whatnot. And to be fair, I'm at the point, I did try and switch to DaVinci because people say that's a good free one. But the issue is the amount of time it would take me to learn DaVinci. Like, like I'm here with VideoPad. I could get there with DaVinci, but because it would take me so long to even get to the same level as VideoPad, it just wouldn't be worth it. So
I used to be like, I used to start videos on Movie Maker, and I was like so good at editing on that. I was like, I could do anything. But and then like I have a YouTube friend called Shiny Odd, and he told me to use Vegas. Yeah. And he told me to use Vegas, and I was like, okay. And then I got Vegas, and I struggled a bit on like editing videos. And then like we just slowly get into the use of it. Like once you discover hotkeys, it just
like I know all the hotkeys off by heart is the thing.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's like muscle memory.
Yeah. Like it will just be, like I edit on autopilot. I listen to music when I edit. I don't know if you do. I got like a
no, I can't do that.
when yeah, exactly, right. Like I got like a what when I mentioned that last time to a creator. But yeah, I'll listen to music while I'm editing. It just, and again, I can't do podcasts or videos, to be fair. My brain can't be that detached. Will you do podcasts?
Yeah, I do split screen, and then I have like video editing in one part and then podcast in the other. And then like if I need to listen to the video to like edit it, I pause the podcast and do that. But
so I'm curious, do you run one monitor then?
Editing, yes, I do. But like this gaming setup is 3 monitors.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I've seen your setup. Your setup's crazy. It's like 2 monitors and then 1 monitor and then like another monitor.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'll send it so I'll have it on screen. Yeah, I've got that. I've got the editing setup, and then I've got the what it looks like when I'm streaming. Yeah. I've got the 1 monitor. Apologies to the audio listeners. I'll describe it. I've got the 2 monitors stacked on top of each other on the left, and then I've got the middle monitor, which is higher, and then I've got the right monitor, which is vertical.
And you got the bottle in the middle.
And then I got the bottle in the middle. There you go. But to be fair, I say this right. Every monitor is used. Like, especially for streaming, you see there. I've got the streaming software on one, the dashboard on one, the screen on one, and then the chat on one. Like, everything comes into use, and if I got rid of one, it would be an inconvenience. Alright, so it's not like I'm just, like... I just got monitors for the sake of it. But it is funny that I've got the full 4 monitor setup, I suppose.
That's crazy.
But I can't really. Yeah, I won't be able to listen to podcasts because too many voices for me. Already got to
Oh
listen
yeah.
to my whining voice. Just ugh.
Yeah.
Tell you what, the one thing people are surprised about, I assume you've read it already, you get used to listening to your own voice eventually,
Yeah.
right?
I used to cringe and I couldn't watch my videos back.
Yeah.
And yeah. Like
Mm.
I had like there were people in my school who came up to me and they're like, "How do you edit without like cringing at your own voice?" Like they tried it and then they cringed at their own voice. But like
Mm.
I feel like you know like when you first record yourself talking and you listen to it, you sound completely different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
nowadays you're like you know what you sound like.
I know what
It's
I
like
sound like,
I
right?
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
it's
will be
weird.
days, though. There will be days. It won't even be that I cringe hearing myself, but like the YouTuber voice and the
Oh yeah.
being excited about the game, there will be days where I'm sat there editing and I will just be like, shut up. Like, just listening to myself go, oh, and then this car, whoa, this is crazy. Whoa. I, God.
And it's so awkward when you're editing it because like for the parts that you know are gonna be in the video, you're gonna be like all like crazy. And then like in like the in between parts, you just have like a dead face. You're like, okay, now next part. It's like,
I tweeted one of mine, right? I did like
yeah,
it will be I'll talk about something. I'll go like oh whoa this is crazy, but and then it'll just
yeah.
be dead. Like like my face just goes so I feel it looks like I just don't want to be there. I just like. But then
Yeah.
we can't really actually deal with it, and this oh god, it's
Yeah.
it's funny,
If
it's
you had to
funny.
put up a performance as a YouTuber, it's like
Yeah,
acting,
yeah.
basically.
But I don't know. People refer to it as a fake, I suppose. The thing is, I can't really pinpoint any time that I went, yeah, I'm gonna do the YouTuber voice for this one. It just
Yeah.
sort
It
of
just pops in.
happens. Yeah, it just crops in. I probably would have made fun of it way back when, but then again, it just like
Yeah.
it just sort of it just appears, right? Like it just eventually you start doing the YouTuber voice.
Yeah.
And you don't sort of sit there and think, oh yeah, I'll sound real excited for this one, unless you're like Morgs or something. Um, but
Man.
I'm curious because you mentioned it offhandedly. So you were doing YouTube while you were in school.
Yes.
So to
But
like to what level?
like if you scroll down far enough, like you'd see like what sort of videos I made. It was like cinematic stuff.
Oh,
I
okay.
I didn't use my voice back then because I kind of wanted to be anonymous.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I used this like text to speech voice, and then like people
yeah,
like really like that.
yeah,
And then I don't know when it was, but like all of a sudden someone like somehow discovered my YouTube channel,
yeah,
and it was if I told them at the start when I was like making videos when I had like 0 subscribers, then they would have like all laughed at me. But
yeah,
when they found out I had like 20,000, and
yeah.
they were like, "Oh, okay, like you're like how yeah, it's crazy." And then everybody asked how much money I make, even though I was
Mm.
like not making money back then.
There really is like there really like especially because I go to like college and stuff, and I still go to I mean, not to assume that you don't. Well, not go to college, but like go outside for stuff. Right? We
Yeah,
are YouTubers. Oh, what
yeah,
even is grass? Oi. But what's it called? There really is the immediate. Oh, so how much do you make? Right? Like
yeah,
sometimes they will be more polite, but I'm fine. I'm not gonna sit here and if someone from my college is watching, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, I hate when people ask me. It's nice and it's nice to a degree. I wouldn't want to sit there and brag about it, but like to a degree, it's nice to be. Normally, because when I say it, it will just be like, oh, so you earn a living from that, right? So like, it's nice to be able to say the number and it be recognized as, yeah, I'm doing a thing, you know.
yeah.
Um, but it really, they try to be polite sometimes, which I respect. They'll be like, oh, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you make? I do get that a lot. Do you get that a lot nowadays? I suppose.
Sometimes I do, but like you can never give a straight answer because it's not like a set job where like you earn this amount every month. It's
I always
like
have to give a
how good
range.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like if someone asked me, like it wouldn't be like out of I don't want to brag. It would be out of sheer embarrassment. I don't want to tell people because they see me. I have a YouTube plug. I have a verified tick. I have like 200,000 subscribers. They think I'm like getting
Oh,
so
so
much. I'm
do you
not.
not perceive it as much as what people would expect it to be?
I don't think like people think I'm way richer than I actually am,
Yeah.
but no, I'm like I saved up like some money recently, but like honest, it's way lower than people think.
Yeah. Okay. That is interesting, because yeah, I mean, you do quite well still. I mean, 100% you do really well still. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I suppose it's all relative. Because to be fair, back when I was at like, to be fair, I didn't really start making. It was only this year. It was midway through this year that I started making an amount that could be considered a job. Right? That was when
yeah,
I went from like I'm not It's like, what do you do for a living? Oh, YouTube. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, YouTube, but it's not exactly making it, but it's nice to be, but it's whatever. And then now it's, what do you do for a living? Yeah, I do YouTube, and I'm earning a living from it. And again, obviously, it's like saving would obviously I've with me, I think it's more of a default. It's just nice to see the money accumulate in the account sometimes. Like, it's
yeah,
nice to I don't check my bank any day except payday. I'll be stressing out about it. I'll never
yeah.
want to check it yeah, any day except for payday. And then I'll check then and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing all right, I guess, thankfully. Not gone broke just yet." Um
I
but
used to
interesting.
like
Yeah, yeah.
I I've been like saving up for like the past 6 months for like I was gonna get a new car this year,
Yeah.
but like I've been saving up so much for 6 months. I never spent like any of that money, and then recently I bought something, but I felt so bad like spending that money.
Really?
Yeah, like
I do
I don't know.
too. I bought a
Yeah.
GPU. It took me weeks of convincing
Oh,
to buy that GPU.
what GPU?
6700. So not even one,
Oh,
not even like a crazy one, but like my mate was like, "You gotta get a new GPU. You can afford it." Because like my money stuff goes through him, and he's a manager on the channel, so he can see it. So he's
yeah,
always like, I love him, but I hate him. He's always like, COD's on discount. If I see how much you made today, you could buy like 3 times over, so buy it now. And I'll always just be like, ah, or I could not,
yeah,
Like the GPU, it took him months of convincing. It took my streaming PC's GPU dying for me to
oh,
buy that GPU. Um,
wow.
I get what you mean about just feeling bad about spending money, right?
Yeah,
It's a rough one.
I
Uh,
I'm looking for a new CPU actually, a
a new
GPU.
CPU, a new GPU. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I'm looking at like 3090,
Yeah,
but they're like 700 quid,
yeah.
and they're like
I
way
could
cheaper
never.
than usual.
I
But
could
like,
never.
yeah,
Like, I'd have to have like 100K in the bank to end it. Like, the only situation where I'd buy something that expensive is if in my head I can be like, yeah, that's all right, I guess. And
yeah,
like, I'd have to have like so much in the bank to be like, oh, I guess I'll get a 3090. You know.
yeah,
I mean, tell you what, I gotta get my business expenses up. So maybe I might buy one just for the business expense. So, um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I did up my room recently. That's the thing. I mean, with our job, the expenses are so low naturally, right? I mean, I'm not sure about
yeah,
your side, right? I mean, I assume you pay for your editing software, etc. But it really does become the money you spend on the channel is the money you want to spend on the channel, right?
yeah.
Mm.
It's like as soon like after you got all your equipment, like that's it basically. You don't need like
Exactly.
petrol money,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
nothing like that.
yeah. I tell you what, I didn't even need petrol money, right? So there you go. Um, but I'm curious, as this
Yeah.
being the podcast for all things cars and car culture, what is yours, Yuwan, car history with cars? Dream car, past cars, current car. What's the story?
I've only had one car,
You've only had one
and
car.
yeah, my first car is still with me. It's a Honda CRZ, which I've made some videos on it, but I've slightly modified it. There's
Oh, it's that thing. Yeah, it's the hatch that I don't really see very often. It's
yeah,
mm,
but if you type in like I don't know, if you type in like my YouTube channel and then like that
uh
car, you'd probably see my one. because I upgraded it a little bit. I've got like white wheels on it. I've got like bucket seats, exhaust.
Tell you what, car is an autofill. For the name, car is the autofill.
Yeah.
But I assume your car isn't that. Is what
Oh no.
is what I assume.
Oh my god, yeah, that was ages ago.
Wait, is
It's the
this
first picture
you
that-
or? Oh, three
Oh, I-
car renders by Yuwan.
I edited it. It was on a website called Car Throttle, which is like
Bro,
a
yeah, I
blog
believe
website.
we have them as one of the people we filter for car news. I believe. I assume it's this
But-
one.
Yes.
There
And
you
look at the
go.
number plate.
An absolute. I see
Yeah.
that. Jeez.
I'm a knobhead.
Jeez, that's huge. That's
Yes.
huge. The rims are sick too.
Yeah, it's slow. It's so slow.
I mean, I guess it looks it, but yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like it could be zippy. You know, I don't know. Maybe whack like an Aventador engine swap or something like that.
Yeah. It's good in the corners, but I've actually crashed that car a few times.
Have you? Okay.
Crashed, but one time I reversed into my dad's van, and then the bumper got dented, and then we fixed that.
Yeah.
Another time I reversed into a school gate
Ooh.
because an SUV was driving towards me really fast, and I was like, nah. And then another time I curved the wheel so hard that the tire came off the wheel,
Oh.
and yeah, I'm not a good driver.
Clearly.
I rarely drive my car actually. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
we don't really gotta go anywhere, really, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, even if I did get a car, the gym is a 20-minute cycle, college is a 40-minute cycle, and
Yeah.
they're both at time slots that it'd be more inconvenient to use a car, right? Like, I come back from the gym around 3 p.m. I'm not dealing with school traffic. I go to college around school time. I'm not dealing with school traffic, you know? If
Yeah.
I had, I mean, I've been considering getting a bike, right?
I don't have a bike.
I've got a few dream cars of whatnot. Tell you what, Raid Shadow Legends hits me up. Perhaps a Porsche Taycan, whatever. This one dealership I cycle past. Interestingly enough, they've got a Volkswagen ID Buzz. That thing doesn't exist in the UK yet. It's a blacked out
Oh,
Volkswagen ID Bus.
Yeah.
The electric one. That thing looks
Yeah.
sick. But that same dealership, they've got like a blue Audi RS4, like the sporty one.
Yeah.
I think that dealership alone may have made it my dream car.
Yeah.
There's
Audis do make good cars.
yeah.
I mean, I was saving up
yeah.
for a new Audi, but the insurance is expensive.
Oh yeah, it would be
But I
right.
can't afford it. It's
Yeah.
an Audi A7,
Mm.
which is a massive car, but it's like it looks
Is
nice.
there a year on it or?
2011.
Ooh.
I think 2011.
Ooh.
It's a sleek looking car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
business
slightly newer than that Michael DeSanta generation of Audi, essentially.
Oh yeah.
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 With the I prefer the back looks a bit more modern than the other rounder Audis, right? The ones before this.
Yes, really edgy.
Yeah. So what would you say is your dream car?
Well, if I had like dream attainable car.
See, that's
Like,
that's where the
that's
difference always
realistic.
is, right? Yeah, because I
Yeah.
say dream car, and then people will be like, the Bugatti Chiron, right?
Yeah.
Who's paying the insurance on a Bugatti Chiron? It's like
Yeah.
that's why mine are like the GT86.
Oh, yeah.
In a couple years, once it's a bit older, that newest Honda Civic, the Type R.
Oh yeah.
And way further than that, if it ever comes to market, the Concept 74.
The Concept 70. I don't know that.
The Hyundai Concept 74. So Hyundai did
Oh,
Concept.
the DeLorean looking thing.
Yeah. Tell you
Yeah.
what, I've said before, if they ever did a Back to the Future reboot, they've got the car to go with, you know, like they really do. But yeah, hopefully that if that came to market at like 40k or so,
Yeah.
I'd pick it up. You know, I'd pick it up. It's obviously not
I
going
hope
to
it
look
looks like that when it comes out.
Yeah, that's the issue. Gotta sit here and see, because the things it's been pictured with, that thing has come to market. And it is
geez.
just this thing, but without the pinstripe and the spoiler. So, in fact, that just came to market a few weeks ago. So 4 years and maybe that thing will too. So yes, what would you say is your dream attainable car?
Like that realistic. I mean, it's not really realistic. They're like 200 grand, but probably an Aston Martin DBS.
Ooh.
I like Aston Martin, like the older generation, like 2011, probably.
I mean, I normally say that, all the... Oh, that one is nice. Older generation, 2011. Oh, yeah, that it's one of the more classic looking ones. Yeah. Like, I mean, to be fair, I say, right, that Aston Martin, all things considered, all the car companies have got their own style. BMW's got the snouts, and the Audi's got the grille, and Lambo's got their design. I think I want to say Aston Martin's has aged the worst out of for the newer cars. I would say for the newer cars, I'd say theirs has aged pretty poorly. I like the old ones. Oh, I can't hear you, I believe. I can't hear you.
I'm muted myself somehow.
Yes, I like you saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
feel
don't
like
mind some of them, to be fair. Like, the newest DBS is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
With the big grill. God, grills are just getting bigger. And now they're just plastic, because EVs.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, 200 grand for a 2011 car.
I think it might be 100 or something.
I mean, it makes sense, I suppose. It's an Aston Martin. And definitely, like, an iconic era of Aston Martins. Like, these are the ones that I'd recognize growing up and whatnot.
Yeah. This is like peak car, in my opinion, like 2010, around that era.
Yeah?
I think they had the best cars.
Yeah.
I mean, like BMW are making like a V10 saloon car, like family cars with V10 engines. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays it's the new Aventador replacement is a hybrid. Whoa.
Yeah. Everything's a hybrid nowadays.
But the thing is, everyone's still making hybrids. Just feel so 2 years ago now, or like like half a decade ago. It's like, suck it up and just make an EV at this point, you know? Like, it feels odd that Toyota's still doing hybrids. Lamborghini are getting their first hybrid. It feels so behind the curve, right? To now do our hybrids compared to when, there's been hybrids for so long now. There was that big trifecta or whatever.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity.
That's the one. I always get that wrong. I always get that. I didn't even say Trinity last episode on the podcast. I just realized. But like, I mean, to be fair, Toyota has done an EV, but that's a whole conspiracy. We went into that on the podcast. There's a car that does exist, but doesn't exist, but they have sold, but they've lied about selling. But this Aston Martin, what would you say anything else, or would it just be this Aston Martin?
I mean, like, if I had like unlimited budget, it would be a car called the Aston Martin 177.
The 177. Ooh.
Yeah, it's like ONE and then 77.
Oh, I recognize that. Oh, wait, if I click this, is this about to be what I think it is? It's in Forza, I believe. Yeah, I've got it in Forza. It was in I think it's in one of the, the James Bond bundle or something. Oh, I think you've muted again. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I keep muting myself.
There it is. Yeah.
You're thinking about the DB10?
Am I? I must be.
Yeah. But like, it's like basically the old version of that.
Oh, okay.
But that car, the 177, was on the cover of Test Drive Unlimited 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so it's essentially this is the predecessor to the one I'm on about, or that one's the predecessor to this?
Predecessor. Yeah, it was the predecessor, that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
an
cars.
Interesting design. The front eye thing. It's like it's been cut into essentially.
Yeah. It's
But there you go.
It's so expensive though. It's like multi-millions.
Oh.
2 million. Like that. But there
Again,
is one of 77, so.
oh, I see what they
Or is it
did
one? I don't know.
there.
It might be. I don't know.
It would make sense. It sounds like something a pretentious car company would do. It's the 177. One of 77. Whoa. Right. 45,000. Oh wait, no. Had its AC fixed for 45,000. Yeah, I mean, if you're paying to fix an AC for 45k, yeah. You've muted again.
I don't know how I keep muting myself.
I assume it's a keybind of some kind that you've got on.
My keyboard is way over here.
But
Oh,
unless there's much else, Yuwan Thyra.
Thaya Karen.
I'm adding too much of a wave to it now, aren't I?
Yeah.
Karen. Oh, because
Yes.
it's like, oh, that's what it is, because I'm trying to connect them two. But they are kind of like two separate. It's Karen.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, what
Just
I'm
add a
trying to
hyphen
do.
in it.
Yeah, I keep trying to combine them, but they're pronounced as like two separate things, I guess.
Yeah.
Almost had it, I was this close. But you know what? There you go.
Yeah.
Unless there's much else. I don't want to keep you for too much longer either. You know what? I'm going to start doing this too. Yuwan,
Yes.
nominate someone to come on to the Stick Drift podcast, the podcast for all things car
Please.
culture, racing games.
Oh. Crap.
Oh,
Can I? What is it? YouTuber? Do I need to do a YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I I need to look at my Twitter following.
I mean, I've
got-
already got one in mind, and I believe I thought. I mean, I said that earlier, right? Goosius
Goosius.
should already be coming on, so I would
Yes.
like you to nominate someone else to come on the Stick Drift podcast.
I nominate. Wait. It should be someone who has their face like. It needs to be. I don't know, random but shiny odd. Yeah. He's
There you go.
he's
Yeah,
a good
I've
person.
follow him on Twitter, and I love his videos. I've watched a bunch of his
Yes.
stuff. Shiny odd, get on here, fella.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, I didn't even mention that. You're not. You are sort of recently a sort of a faceless YouTuber, but with like 2 minutes of search, you're not really a faceless YouTuber.
Yeah.
It's just sort of that your current content doesn't have your face in it, I suppose.
I mean, it has it right at the end, but it's
does
only
it?
for like a few seconds. Yeah. Like for the outro nowadays, I'm like, might as well show my face.
Yeah, I suppose
Before,
that
yeah.
builds more viewer connection. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's that Yuwan guy. I know what he looks like. I'll watch his video. But there you go. Thank you for joining me for the third ever bonus guest episode of the Stick Drift podcast. Any last words to those viewing, I suppose?
I don't know.
Of course, Yuwan's links will be in the description. Check out his stuff if you haven't already. And that's going to be about it from us. In a...
Yay.